Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check another VR builds, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So again, we're gonna do a very F2P friendly build, and we're gonna focus on the reasons why we're using this build. So we're gonna be using Lapis, Oboro, and Azeroth. There's other options, but let's analyze the roles first. So first of all, we're gonna have Lapis. Lapis is gonna be our healer. Unlike previous builds, we are not going to use Felicia. You can, yes, but its effectiveness gets diminished. Felicia heals by applying a debuff, and then characters get healed after attacking the enemy, which has the debuff. Why is this not good against Queen Kanaloa? Because Queen Kanaloa can block damage and the minions too. So that's gonna reduce the effectiveness of your healing, which is why we're not gonna use this as a healer. There's other options for healers, but Lapis is the most optimal. So we're gonna use an offensive Lapis because the most recent supporters allow her to be offensive. So we have a whatever weapon, but in this case, we're gonna go very F2P and we're gonna use Vajra Scepter, which is going to give us anti-demon trait and increases our damage tremendously. And then we're gonna use anti-demon Ice Magatamas, whatever weapon, 5 out of 5 plus 15, 5 out of 5 plus 7. Unfortunately, this weapon is not with a good enchantment level, but I don't have materials. Try to raise it as much as possible. If you want to use a UR weapon, which I mean a strong UR weapon, that's completely fine. As long as it's 5 out of 5 and plus 15, it's definitely worth using instead of this one, even though it doesn't have the damage increase, so keep that in mind. Then, for skills, Piercing Dash for healing, Gem Support for healing, and Moral Boost for defense increase, which it's not that necessary for the most part, but you can use it. If you want to substitute it for Spear Barrage, that's fine. If you want to put another skill, that's fine, but use these two. You need them on this strategy. So, then we have the supporters. Kurenai. Kurenai is just filler in this case. She's not going to be effective most of the time. It is just in case of an emergency, which I have not faced an emergency. And most of the time this is not active because of the healing. If you have a better option, please use a better option. We're going to use Arbella and we're going to use Onigumo. So, what can you put instead of this one? Well, you can put premium options, of course. You can put, for example, Heaviko. Guys, if you have Heaviko, use Heaviko, because the active allows you to remove buffs on the target. It's going to be really effective against this specific boss, because they nullify damage with a buff. What else you can use? If you're a long-time player, you can use Sakuya, you can use Lilim, you can use Nana. If you are a premium player, you can use Kirara, you can use Su, depending on what you want to do. You can use Sakura. There's plenty of options. You can go with Bright and Rose if you have the Momochi weapon. You can use Sayaneo. You can use let me check. Lapis if you're going with a full demon team, or the other Lapis. Both of them are pretty good. So yeah, use whatever you have available. This is just filler, as I mentioned, but these two are actually pretty good for the build. Then, stats of the customs, stats of the stat trading, and let's go to the next role. The next role is going to be a range attacker with good AoE or tracking capabilities. So, the stage for Queen Kanaloa is kind of, I don't want to say big, but it's a little bit more than medium. So, it is not like, for example, Wyram Knights stage, which is gigantic, or LWS Squad, that's enormous. It is smaller than that, but you have enough room to move around with range attackers. From the wide variety of range attackers that we have, the most optimals are going to be Astaroth because of her amazing mobility, tracking capabilities, and big AoE. You can also use Phantasma. Phantasma is a mid-range attacker, but she works perfectly fine as a range attacker on green. So, you want to use Green Phantasma too, that's another option. You can use Micah. Yes. Is it the most optimal thing? I don't think so, not for this one, because unlike LW's squad, we do have mobs, but it is not an absurd amount of mobs that you want a super huge AoE that passes through the whole field and deals damage. Because the enemies are going to be together in one spot, but you can use it. You can use this character. Unfortunately, Sora is not a great option, nor is it Yukikase, but they are there if you really want to force them. So, what is Astaroth going to be doing? She's going to be using the anti-demon weapon, the VR weapon, but if you don't have that, just equip whatever weapon you have. Your strongest weapon will do, okay? By the way, we do have, and will probably get, the Holy Knight Missile Lit, okay? And that has anti-demon. It is a worse version of the VR weapon with an active. I do not recommend that you get this weapon whenever we receive it, because Astaroth doesn't need it because she has this option. But if you're desperate, you might as well grab it. Then we have, of course, anti-demon weapon, fire element, whatever weapon. Both weapons 5 out of 5 plus 15. Then Fire Blast. You can equip whichever basic enhancer you want, but Fire Blast is the one that I recommend if you do not pilot Astaroth. If you pilot Astaroth, you can go with Fire Wave. Then Serpent Blaze, because we go green, and Lava Servant. If you pilot Astaroth, you can change Lava Servant for Phoenix Dive if you want. It's fine. Both of them are pretty good skills. Now, Astaroth can go with any color. All of the colors that Astaroth has are viable options for this stage. You can go red, you can go blue, but basically you're always going to go with the main, then the basic enhancer, and either Serpent Blaze or Lava Servant on the last slot. Serpent Blaze because even though you do not have the color active, the set effects, you have the tracking capability, and that's super useful. It's always useful, unless you're facing one enemy. But in general, it is very good. And Lava Servant because it gets enhanced with the weapon if you have the weapon. Now, for supporters, I have Misaki, Torajiro, and Yachio. If you have any option that increases damage, let's say an Anao, let's say what could work? I'm checking. The Dark Zone Astaroth, the Celestial Fox Sora, Psycha, whatever that increases your damage, it's a better option than Yachio. Yachio is just filler here, and I don't really need it, but it's F2P. Now, if you have Core Phantasma, you want to use Core Phantasma on the main, so that you can cleanse those buffs from the enemies. It's super important. In case you go red, well, it's a lot of options, you know? There's, of course, Homura, very F2P. There's the range attackers, Granny and Nino. There's also Shirayuki, Stella, Susune, Yukina. There's like a ton of options that you can grab. There's Francis. There's Lily, and also Furfur. And if you go blue, well, I'm trying to do this F2P, but you have the same. You have Arabella, you have Heviko, Onigumo, what else? Kirara. This is a little bit more restrictive, especially if you have another blue supporter, another character with blue supporters. Say a Neo is another option. So build her however you want. It is just that effective Astaroth on this stage, especially because of the mobility. So stats of the stat training. No, stats of the custom, stats of the stat training. And lastly, here I put Oboro because it's very useful. Oboro is going to stop Queen Kanaloa from activating, from abusing um, the invincibility, and also stop the enemy on its track before they attack. It's really, really good because Queen Kanaloa is difficult to stop. So we have Skullface 3 out of 5 plus 15, whatever weapon 5 out of 5 plus 11, Anti-Demon Water Magatemas with whatever Magatemas on the sub slot, Wicked Slasher, and Hypnosis Seal. Super important skills to use, as well as Taimanin Art Claw. But you can substitute Claw by Carnage Dance, by Blooming Carnage, Flash Step, whatever you want is fine, honestly. Then, we're gonna use Vacation Furfur, Galilim, and Homura. Honestly, you do not need to go defensive. If you can go offensive, let's say you can equip a Susune, a Stella, a Shirayuki, that would be way better, trust me. But I'm using these supporters because they were given to us recently, so it is more akin to what actual players, newer players have. So now, stats of the customs, stats of the stat training, and there we go. Preferably you pile up this. It is possible to use it on the, or let the AI control it, but it's not gonna be perfect, the timing. You're gonna get hit a couple times, so keep that in mind. So this strategy is pretty common, but I'm giving you a thorough explanation so that you're able to build your own team according to what you have. I hate the auto target, but I don't want to remove it. And we, that was bad timing on my part, but anyways, we keep stopping the enemy, and we're gonna use the mind control to deal as much damage. Unfortunately, there's the as you can see, the damage reduction on no way on every color. So yeah, unfortunately I'm not gonna deal that much damage. And we stop the enemy again, and we use Wicked Slasher. And check the buffs of the enemies so that you are able to just move aside and stop attacking enemies which are immune to your attacks. I mean the mobs, which always get in the way. So there we go, nice, pretty easy, pretty simple. I decided to go on this floor, on floor 60, because I didn't have time to progress any further. But this strategy can work. Unfortunately, I need to strengthen the weapon and such, of Lapis, for example. But that's why I decided to go with the VR weapon for Astaroth to compensate for her lack of levels. And fortunately, the active of the supporter of the what's the name of the Massacre Kurenai is going to give me a very good amount of damage with that buff. And as you can see, it's very easy to just recover the HP. I'm gonna use the ultimate. And done. You see? Fairly simple. I mean, you can do an alternative strategy. Let's say that you don't have Oboro, or that your Oboro is not level up. You can rely on Lapis to be a tank. You still want the damage, but let's go a little bit more defensive. So I'm gonna change this and this, and I'm gonna put her on the main. No, I prefer the speed reduction, so I'll put Sakuya. So This is gonna be counter strategy. It is basically the same, but let's say that you do not have Oboro, so you cannot rely on her, but you do have Phantasma or some other range attacker. Do I limit myself? Well, I guess I should. Let's go with the Momochi weapon because it's permanent, so at least it's more F2P. There's no critical rate basics. No. There's no anti-trade weapon. So we put demon, and one more demon. Where is human, machine? My god, where is it? Aha, demon. Okay, anti-demon, and we do this. And here. So, what are we going to do? We're gonna take, what's the name? Asteroid supporters, and I'm gonna put them over here. And I'm gonna go with a different color for Asteroid. So, stats of the custom, stats of the stat training. The weapon is 4 out of 5 plus 13, 5 out of 5 plus 13. Anti-demon wind, whatever Magatamas. Clinging nightmare, very important because this is going to track the enemies and deal a lot of damage to those mobs. Then Succubus Whisper. You can go with Twister Dance, but I prefer to go Succubus Whisper. No, I'll do Twister Dance. Why Twister Dance? Because it doesn't matter the buff, because most of the time Asteroid is going to be moving. That's why we prefer to buff Phantasma herself. And talking about buffing Phantasma, we're gonna use Slash Horror to even buff buff Phantasma even further. And for Asteroid, since now we're changing the color, we're gonna use let's go red to substitute Oboro's color. So let's go with Oboro's supporters basically, because as I mentioned, they are pretty F2P and relatively new, most of them. So yeah, this is excellent. So yeah, I'm gonna keep Serpent Blaze because I want to hit multiple enemies. That's as simple as that. Increase the duration of familiars, I could, but I won't. So let's just use a potion, and there we go. Nice. So this is a different strategy. It is a counter strategy with two range attackers, and I'm controlling one of the range attackers because Phantasma wants to be near the enemy so that she can debuff them. Like that, perfect. As you can see, we're dealing a ton of damage. And Lapis is going to be in charge of healing everyone. I just do this and this and this. It is immune to range attacks. That's the unfortunate thing, that if you don't have another melee attacker, you might get the enemies to stay for a while, especially the mobs. And since Lapis is a full tank, she's not going to be helping that much to clear the range immune mobs. Okay, nice. But you can use the ultimate for those, though it is a little bit time consuming to get all the particles, you know? Wait, am I using the Momochi weapon? I am using my own Momochi weapon. Yeah, I was like, am I critting? Well, with the speed that I have on the on Clinging Nightmare, it is very likely that I crit, especially because this skill on green also has extra critical rate, so it can crit on BR. That's why I have the the effect to reduce the defense. So as you can see, it is possible to use 2 ranged attackers and a tank. Keep an eye, guys, on where is she? Where is she? Murasaki. Why Murasaki? Because we are about to get to the month of December, and we're gonna get another opportunity at the Christmas weapons, and Murasaki has Rudolph Crusher, which enhances her role as a DPS slash tank against demon bosses like Queen Kanaloa and Queen Arachne. So you can use this, especially if you still have the. Let's say that you substitute Lapis for Murasaki. If you have the Yachio, you can do it even without a healer, because that is gonna help us out. And if you equip where is she? Misaki on the main, you can use the active when there's an emergency. So yeah, it is doable, guys. Trust me. I mean, Astaroth, even though she receives hits with a 40% damage reduction, she's gonna be fine. So, anyways, that's about it, guys. I hope you find this useful. Try any combinations that you like, but be sure to take into account that Queen Kanaloa deals massive hits when no matter the state of the super armor, because it has super armor even though it shouldn't. The enemy has protection against certain attacks, so you need a very good healer, not like Felicia, but rather Lapis, because she always heals no matter what. And range attackers. You want range attackers on this stage. And if you can, of course, Oboro, because mind control is just that busted. You know it? I know it. Everyone knows it. So, yeah. That's about it, guys. I hope you find this useful, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!